I do have a question.
Sure.
I wonder if I could be diagramming too much. I know one of your videos you were talking about, you don't always have to diagram, but I figure, I should be able to diagram, you know. One of the problems I did was for prep test 22, section 4, and I'm looking at it now, and I don't know, I think I'm getting, not that I got my abbreviations wrong, it's just the diagram just didn't help me. And I got it right off instinct, but I know I shouldn't always, depend on instinct because I might be in a situation where that doesn't help. But the diagram is, I use, the letters from the words given, but I don't know if I was just missing something because it wasn't clicking with the
Was it a
diagram.
sufficient assumption question?
Yes, it was sufficient assumption, and I believe it was under restatement. And I might not have needed the diagram, but I tried to see if I could use a diagram, but it didn't help.
Yeah, diagramming is a tool, but I wouldn't always use it. Even for sufficient assumption questions, I'm showing you these diagrams so that it's a
Right,
tool you have available to you when you might want to use it. And for
right.
some simpler questions or for some restatement questions, I don't actually think it's a great idea to actually be diagramming. I'm simply showing you that that is one way to think about it in terms of its
Mhm.
underlying logical structure. I think
Yeah,
diagramming.
I was just trying to use it as an practice is mostly what it was with diagramming, because in other problems where I did have to diagram, like there was a lot of, elements into it, and it was just getting too much. Where one of them was dealing with like chains, and I don't know, I just got messed up with the diagram, like wordage. I don't know, but yeah, it's just I was going off of instinct, and I told myself I shouldn't. I should be able to diagram it and see it.
Listen, if it helps you, great. For the restatement category, I actually wouldn't diagram it that often.
Hmm.
And again, it can be really difficult given how LSAC words things. So if it's not helping you for the restatement category, don't bother doing it there. I think it's actually much more useful for the other categories, specifically categories 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. But
Now,
categories 1 and 2, I wouldn't bother.
how would you know that it's that unless you go into the answer choices? Like, how do you know it's a restatement question?
Based on how the stimulus is laid out. So you see here for number 5, the stimulus has multiple conditionals going on.
Hmm.
Number 2, all we've got is one conditional here, or
Hmm.
it's simply evidence arrow conclusion. So there aren't several conditionals here, and maybe depending on how you think about number 2 or number 1, it may not even be a single conditional. It could simply be evidence requires conclusion, which I would say can be framed as a conditional, but it may not come naturally to you to think of it that way.
Hmm.
It might just be this because that. Is that a conditional or not? Depends on how you think about it. But it's not the sort of thing that people would automatically diagram.
Yeah, yeah, there were definitely some that weren't restatements, but that, gave, um, I did a conditional with it, and it was right, but I'm like, there were no, what do you call it? Not activators, but indicator words. There were no indicator words to let you know that it was conditional, but it could be a conditional. And
Right. Yeah.
I saw other people and stuff using them as conditionals, and I was like, but there were no indicator words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There aren't always going to be indicator words, but in a case like restatement, you don't need to think about it in terms of conditionality. But for one like number 5 here, I would say it's definitely useful to do so. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.